Welcome to the Web of Tomorrow. We're your hosts, Riley Carrasquillo
and Adam Harris.
And today we've got a really great little hero's journey interview with Ryan Henricksen. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello, people.
And so today you're going to learn a little bit more about Q&A.
QA.
Q&A.
Q&A is question and answer. So I guess this is a Q&A.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, thanks you guys for being here and keeping me on track.
So first off, what exactly is QA?
QA, basic quality assurance, just pretty much in the software industry. It's all about working with the developers to make sure that from a user's perspective or point of view, that the software works as it's intended, making sure that all of the requirements for features and specs are met, and also, to find bugs, to find where the software doesn't work, and we report that back to the developers so that they can in turn fix those bugs and make sure that we release a good finished product or update or release or something. So just in a nutshell.
Cool. So where do you where are you right now with QA and just kind of what you do and in your role and whatnot?
So right now I am the mobile tester, I guess, for HireVue. And so right now I'm about 5 years into my career of testing. And just this last couple of years, I started diving into more test automation, especially now with the load of testing that I have to do with all of our apps that we have. There's not as much time for manual testing. So I've really gone into automated tests, which allows me to have scripts and code run my tests for me. The scripts I talk to the back end of the apps and the code there and make sure that, A and B work throughout the app. And that allows me to get my hands dirty more and do more manual exploratory testing, trying to actually find bugs and trying to make the app crash or stuff like that.
So are you working on testing native apps, iOS, Android, or is it a mobile website?
Currently, right now, my position, we have our native apps for iOS and Android. So yeah, I'm testing both platforms. Also testing on BlackBerry and Kindle.
Okay.
Or Amazon, whatever you want to call it, because BlackBerry and Amazon allow you to use Android apps in their devices. So
okay,
cool.
We got to cover those too, unfortunately, but yeah, it makes it interesting.
Yeah. So, random question. Yesterday, I went to a product management meetup where HireVue presented. It was Ricky Simmons. Mm-hmm. So they were talking a little bit about their, sprints and particularly the book sprint and kind of how they have used that to do their prototyping, testing, and whatnot. At what point do you kind of come in that sprint?
So for me, as the mobile QA on the mobile team, it's an interesting side, especially in regards to HireVue. We have our back end and everything that the HireVue app does on the web. And our mobile apps are an extension of those. For example, like with the candidate app for taking interviews, the candidate app needs to have all of the features that the web does. So we have to make sure that both of those are existing together. But then with our other app where you have the user or interviewer rating and doing the hiring and that kind of stuff, we have more of a lesser extension of the app. So like all of the features that you would see on the web will not exist for the mobile app for someone who's evaluating these interviews, because creating interviews and all these other things, they're more done on the web. So anyway, how we fit into this then is there may be some major feature updates that will affect how the app works in general. Like as a mobile team, we'll need to make sure that the changes that are being done on the web will not affect, or if they do affect mobile, we have to adapt and make sure that the planning that we do and the development that we do and testing coincides with what's being done on the web.
What kind of tests do you do? You mentioned manual exploration and you mentioned some automated stuff. So what types of tests are there?
So our apps that we have are native applications. We don't have any hybrid or web apps or anything for mobile. What I do is, I do manual testing. We have certain live interview features that are pretty difficult to automate because you have to have the video on both sides to make sure the audio and video sync up well and sound good. So yeah, just in short, I do manual testing, a lot of automation, exploratory testing, just having fun, trying to break the app, try to overload the servers with trying to cause some mischief.
Havoc.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the fun part.
Anyway, so we've dived pretty deep into this discussion already, which is great. It's really super fun. But let's go back.
Editing magic.
What?
Editing magic.
Yeah. No, I don't think, actually, it's been so good, I don't think I will have to actually edit it. I might even leave me talking about editing right now in it.
Sweet.
No, so let's go back to kind of how you got into it. Like,
Okay.
I mean, how many people just randomly know about QA anyways? Like, how did you decide that I want to do QA? How did you decide I want to get into technology and the technology space and whatnot?
Well, for me, when I started in QA about 5 years ago, I honestly had no clue that there was such thing as a QA job or anything. I actually, as some people say, I fell into QA.
Interesting.
I guess going back, I've always been kind of interested in technology and gadgets and, kind of geeky or something, I guess, for as long as I can remember. Growing up, 8 or 9 years old, having one of those old tape recorders, I'd like to take things apart just to see what was inside and then put it back together and make sure that, it still worked when I put it back together. But, yeah, I've always had some sort of interest in technology as a whole. And I guess I went to school about 10 years ago or something I just wanted to get into the IT field. I knew that it would be fun. I knew it's, sparked my interest. So I just went and decided to go to some random college for a computer networking degree, associate's degree, which I never ended up using. That's usually how college goes anyway, your degrees.
Yeah, I have a psychology
For the most part.
degree.
Yeah.
The most unused degree, probably.
So, yeah, I mean, you know how it is. So it's how I got started was, I guess, right place, right time. I had a friend who worked for the company that I started at with QA. And at the time, my wife had been let go from her job. And shortly after, I got let go from my job at the time because of the economy when it was back then. And so just kind of decided, all right, well, I got to earn some sort of money. So I decided to go get a job at the local Buckle, even though it's like not my style of dressing and everything. But I thought, yeah, whatever. So I got a job there. And then I also decided I'm going to start my own little company. I had like everyone else does in Utah, I guess. I used to have my own computer service repair business thing where I'd make in-house calls or to small businesses, pretty much anything around technology, not specifically computers, but printers, audio, video, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I had that for about a year. And a friend of mine who was around at the time, who still is, Dave Smith, he said, hey, this place I work at, we need a tester, and we don't have anyone. You seem like you know technology kind of well, and you're geeky, and seem like you'd fit in well. You want to come test for us? And I go, okay, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what's involved. And he said, you'll do fine. Just come over and you just break stuff and make sure that everything's good. So yeah, I got there and didn't know what I was getting myself into. Dave was a good friend, so I trusted his judgment, and so got it there, and immediately I just fell in love with testing in general. The fact that I was able to work with amazing, smart developers and be a part of that development cycle, but not have to touch code or do any of that stuff. Because at the time, it just seemed like it was so boring to sit in front of a computer and type code all day, even though I sit in front of a computer and play games and stuff, But
yeah.
Anyway, so back then, the thing that really caught my attention with it is being able to use my imagination and being able to be creative with what I did, just trying to think of ways that the software could break maybe. And that's the attitude that I had at first, thinking, okay, I got to find more bugs. I got to get that bug count up. And, it was fun. So that's really how I got started into QA. I just fell into it, I guess you can say. But, yeah, I love it.
It's kind of funny, though, because you can say that, you can use that word fell into it, but do you fall into something that you hate ever? Like, and
I
just
guess,
keep doing it forever?
No, yeah. That's one of the things that I've learned too, is I've had all sorts of different jobs in the past, different career paths, and had some pretty crappy employers who, treat you bad and whatnot. But at the same time, I really wasn't passionate about what I was doing. I was just doing it, putting on my hat every day, going to work, just making the money and trying to get by. But when I started testing, it was just a light turned on for me, thinking there is so much opportunity in this field right here. Even if I wanted to get into development years down the road, I would have a good connection to get in.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's kind of the approach a lot of people take with testing, is like a step to development. Right now, for me, I think maybe the more I get with automation, the more development might seem, cool.
But what a lot of people I think it's kind of true what you just said.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people may not know is that it actually is a career to be a manager of a whole team of mobile testers. And Domo has a team like that. I mean, a lot of them are programmers, but they do have like a mobile team, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So was it like that for you, Adam? Did you have a light bulb click on?
Yeah, sort of. In the same thing, just growing up, taking apart like a calculator to see if I could figure out how it works and putting it back together. I think maybe the light bulb moment was when I figured out how to program a TI-83 and I could get it to do my homework for me.
Awesome.
Dude, that is so funny you brought that up, because that is what Dave Smith said got him into programming.
Nice.
That literally not that exact same thing, but it was the TI-83. Maybe he said TI-85. I can't remember, but he said that it was making games.
Yeah, I made some games, but I thought it was awesome too that I could figure out how to make a program that would show me step by step how to write down the homework, because it would give me the answer, but it wouldn't give me step by step. So I programmed it to do it step by step.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Dang, I wish you were there on the interview with Dave, because you guys could have chatted about that. Although we talked for like 45 minutes to an hour anyways. So
cool. Yeah, I can talk long too, so shut me up if
No, this is great. It's just interesting. The reason I asked you, Adam, is because I feel like everyone's a lot of people are like, look for that light bulb moment and are hoping it comes. But it doesn't always come,
Yeah.
But sometimes it really does. And sometimes it comes in a way that you're not really expecting. Like, you've been doing it for 3 years already, and then all of a sudden you're doing something that just has expanded that experience, and that's the light bulb.
One of the things for me with the job that I had previous to this one, my first job in testing, was the software that we wrote was actually on Linux and for Linux, just for the users who need it. And just a few years before that, I remember in school taking a class on Linux, and I loved it. I thought it was cool. You had these days you have the GUI around, the Linux and all that stuff, but even just using the command line for mostly everything, to get the computer to do whatever you want, getting more exposure and being able to dive more into Linux was really awesome for me. I enjoyed that part. But it was, I think so many aspects of that career, just being able to feel like you're contributing and being effective by looking at programs, trying to find the faults in them and trying to find ways to improve them. It also taught me a lot about communication, especially, how to and how not to communicate with certain types of people. As a tester, I respect developers, I respect testers, and I want to make sure that, there's harmony between working, with those types of people, because I've been in environments where, there's a contention between tester and developer, and it's not fun, you never want to be told something that you've been working hard on all of a sudden just doesn't work as you intended. I'm a people person. I like to talk Anyway,
yeah.
right.
No, I think I totally agree. There's some skills here that Adam and I like to talk about and emphasize because we feel like they don't get talked and emphasized a lot in the developer world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a multifaceted or multi-skilled job.
So yeah, my advice for anyone who wants to do QA or anything, definitely check it out. And if you want to make money with it, you can go the management route or you can go automation route, which high demand. You can earn a lot of money with test automation.
It's a vital role. Yeah, it's a vital role. I think it's really integral to the development of a product, and it's great to hear from you. I mean, it's cool to hear your input as someone that's not like, I mean, you're not like a QA celebrity,
Yeah.
And but you definitely represent what it can be like for someone who maybe just doesn't see themselves doing something like this, and that's super cool. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, anytime. You're welcome. If you want more, check out wad.com.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's actually weboftomorrowpodcast.com. We have the whole thing. Yeah.
What? Sorry, Wad. Wad.
We should change it to wat.com.
What up? All right, sorry.
This is going to be the beginning intro part.
Oh, boy.
Thanks, Ryan, for joining us. If you guys like this, let us know. Rate, subscribe, comment. We now have comment boxes on our website. We're located, as you know, unless you aren't, I guess, on our website right now, but weboftomorrowpodcast.com. And, we've got a lot of really cool things going on there. We're actually revamping the whole website and going to be adding some really, really cool tutorials and blogs and things like that. So if you're thinking about programming, if you are programming, you're new, Watt is the place for you. What are you going to do? Go to Watt. weboftomorrowpodcast.com. Anyways, bye. We love you.
Awesome.